So we're here at UNICEF in Nigeria looking at the progress of birth registration in the last 2 years as a result of this EU-UNICEF project. Nigeria's got a really booming population, so 181 million people currently, and it's estimated that by the year 2050, Nigeria will be responsible for a tenth of the world's births. So it's really vital that the civil registration infrastructure is really strong and in place in this country, not just to benefit the children of today, but to build capacity for future generations in both protecting their rights and also at the level of planning, good governance, knowing how big the population is and what their needs are.
Starting from October 2013, UNICEF supported National Population Commission to bring together broad stakeholders that will be looking at sustaining the National Plan of Action for CRBS in Nigeria. This includes the National Identity Card Management Office, the Immigration Office. There's been a lot of work with the religious and traditional institutions, the civil society organizations, and broad actors of those that are in the pipeline of ensuring a wider coverage of birth registration, particularly that will feed it into the CRBS system that is being built in Nigeria.
Until when I came to Abuja here, I took my child to school, private school for enrollment. They insisted that I must bring birth certificate from NPOC. It took me like 10 minutes to get this birth certificate from them at no cost. So that very day I returned back and he got enrollment.
Nigeria as a developing country needs a very comprehensive system of civil registration system on ground, as most of the vital statistics generated must come from those effective with a very good civil registration system. And this, we know, we cannot have important statistics like, calculating infant mortality rate or maternal mortality rate, which are very key. The level of so many indices that are required for development purposes, which cannot be obtained unless we have a very good civil registration system on ground that generates vital statistics that can be used for development purposes.
Okay, the local government councils issues birth certificates and they charge revenue. They issue birth certificate to generate revenue. They don't generate any demographic data out of it. We issue birth certificate free of charge and we generate data, demographic data. Meanwhile, initially they saw us as a threat because they are losing their revenue since we are giving it out free. But over time now, they have come to realize that the data will return back to them for planning is more cost effective compared to the revenue they are losing.
The UNICEF. Of course, we all know that this day itself is also a day being projected by United Nations.
But we all know, and I don't want to go back to all that we've been told. I'll just ask you a few questions. How many of us have a birth certificate from National Population Commission? How many of us from National Population Commission? If you have, let me see your hand. So the one you have is different. You don't even know. Will you do that as an homework? and ask your mommy that mommy, is my birth registered with who? And then the national population, we're going to come to your school and register your birth. Learn to speak out. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for her. Give her a round of applause.
It's 25 minutes to the top of the hour, and we are still talking about children's rights right here on 95.1 Nigeria Info. Sharon Oladiji is our guest, the Child Protection Specialist with UNICEF Nigeria. Now, if you want to be part of this conversation, go ahead and send a text.
And some of the problems we have, for example, is also health planning. I'll give you an example. The graduates, 21 years old, 22 years old, were born 22 years ago.
Yeah.
So right now, we have a lot of people who are doing this, thousands and millions. They were born 22 years ago. We ought to have known that 22 years down the line, this million young people will be ready for work. They should be ready to go into the society. They should have means of livelihood. They should have jobs to do. They should have all that.
So we should plan ahead.
So we should plan ahead. But if we do not know the number of children that are born today, how are we going to plan 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line? And that's part of the problem we're having. And can I quickly tell you about RapidSMS Nigeria if you're listening to me? If you Google RapidSMS Nigeria, if you open it, it will ask you about the dashboard. If you click the dashboard, Nigeria dashboard, it will show you, it will take you to a platform. It will show you things about MNCH, birth, click birth registration. And that is something, plus a database. If you say there's no data, there's a lot of things being done in showing or showcasing the number of children that are registered part-time per day. So if you click on, you see cumulative if you want, you see month if you want, you see the states if you want your states, then you want to see what is going on in your local government. We investigated as UNICEF the consistent low-level coverage of birth registration in Nigeria and found that there are very few birth registrars in healthcare delivery points in the country. So in 2012, we supported birth registration being integrated into the maternal and child health weeks that is supported by the National Council of Health. This kind of has opened up a lot of opportunities to register massive number of especially under one children across the health centers in the country, to the extent that there's been a giant leap in the number of under one that were registered in 2011 compared with 2012, 2013 and now 2014. We keep on seeing the progress, we're monitoring the progress. And for under 5, we also are working with the National Council of Education to integrate birth registration activities into the basic education sector in Nigeria.
There are insufficient registrars to register children, especially at the health centers. So we were able to work with the National Council of Health to integrate birth registration activities into the maternal and child health clinics. So twice a year, the country, all over the country, runs the maternal and child health weeks. So this is one of the centers of the maternal and child health weeks, and we've been able to integrate birth registration activities into the package of services that are rendered to mothers and children in these health centers.
With the maternal and child health now, you see the mothers are coming down. We said we have materials now, the birth certificate are available. We register them and we issue them instantly. We don't ask them to go and come back for the birth certificate. Because of the integration now, we have been on 1 week, we keep informing them that this week of maternal and child health, We have everything for them, including the birth certificate is available.
Birth registration is proof of identity. It is a fundamental right of a baby. Benefits of birth registration includes the following. 1. Right to belong to Nigeria as a country of origin. 2. Right to resources of Nigeria, e.g. registration to start school, health services, social amenities, e.g. electricity, water, good roads, as it helps the government to plan well. 3rd, right of participation in government matters, e.g. elections, government appointments and employment.
The National Agency, NAPTIP, works with children, victims of human trafficking, and then many of them, when we ask them about their birth certificate, many of them don't have any idea about it. And then with the introduction of having a central data system or having a common data where the information about their birth is captured, will go a long way in helping us, because the agency deals with children who are below 18 years, so that when they come and then many of them assume the age they are not, falling back on the data already in the data bank about what their ages are, we'll be able to know exactly what their ages are, then know whether we're really working within our mandate or not. And at the same time also, it will help us in monitoring children about their movement, so that when they come, their names are already there in the data system, and then we'll be able to know when a victim has come repeatedly or been circled by their traffickers, and then it will also help the agency in its preventive measures. The issue of having the biometrics will then help us to move a step further to confirm their names, even when they come with such different names, because the data is already captured in the biometrics, and that is a data you cannot alter.
I believe that going forward, the electronic database is so important, especially for registration of that. Then, if that's registered electronically, then we'll be able to link up with other databases of immigration, NAPTIP, National Identity Management Commission, and also that of the police. So it's easy to trace and identify someone. For NAPTIP, it's very helpful because we don't have to now start spending maybe weeks trying to discover the real identity of a victim. And also, anywhere victims appear, they can easily be traced and know who they are. So I think that's where we should be going. We should go in the next year or so, in order to bring this linkage of all these databases, so we can have a proper identification of victims of trafficking.
In terms of Nigeria, the best way we can strengthen the right of a child is to give an individual an identity. And this identity cannot succeed until all agencies work together in a unified form. And this form must be digital, must be verifiable, and must be accepted. That's why we have increased the demand by collaborating with National Population Commission that if you need a passport, you must give a document from National Population Commission. I think it's a good practice others can copy.
I went to the passport office to get passport for my children, 3 of them. One is 15, the other is 13, and the other is 7. When I got there, they refused issuing the passport. they said that I have to get a birth certificate for my children. Already I had a birth certificate for my children, but from private hospitals. So they told me the birth certificate from private hospitals are not recognized at all. That I need to go to National Population Commission and get their birth certificates. If not, I'll not be issued with their passport. So that was what I did. I went to MPC office, I registered them, and I was issued with National Population Commission birth certificate. I took them back to the certificates back to the passport office, and I was given my children's passport.